Yeah, welcome to Sidebar Convo, where the real talk happens on the side.
What's going on? What's going on to all my investors and stuff out there, man? Thank y'all for coming through, tuning in to another Sidebar Convo radio show. It's going to be another great episode that we're going to have. We're going to do a breakdown on this up and coming Monday's full episode of the Entrepreneurial Conversation, which the topic I'm going to be breaking down today is going to be stop waiting for motivation. It's going to be stop waiting for motivation. But before I break that down, make sure you hit that subscribe button and subscribe to the Invest Media channel, and also hit on that notification bell, hit all notifications, and so you can be notified when a new episode drop for the Sidebar Convo radio show, and also when a new episode drop for the Entrepreneurial Conversation. And I'm going to be bringing in, I want to say sometime in April, it's going to be for my late night entrepreneurs. You up late working on your business, or your grind starts at night, depending on what you do. If you got your own janitorial service or you own your own truck, what have you, club promoter, this is going to be for you, man. We just going to be vibing out. So this going to be called No Pressure, Just Vibes. We just going to be vibing out, talking about random things. So that's going to be something just to help you vibe out and, work on your business, whatever you're doing. So I'm definitely going to, that's why it's important for you to hit that notification bell. So once that is released, the information on that, you'll be notified. And also I'm going to be bringing sometime soon, probably a couple months, I want to say down the line, I'm going to be bringing Behind the Brand, which, I'm going to take you behind the curtains of the Invest brand. That's our motivational streetwear, clothing side and what have you. So definitely going to be giving you behind the brand on that. Just give you a day-to-day look into our business, show you what I do, and just give you great insight so you can be a part of our journey and what have you. I don't hold y'all too long, so let's get into the breakdown of the topic for today, because I like to keep these breakdowns at 10-minute mark. So today's topic I'm gonna be talking about is stop waiting for motivation. And I know y'all wondering, what is wrong with motivation? It's nothing wrong with motivation, guys. There's nothing wrong with being motivated. You want to be motivated, but understand it's a problem when you think motivation is the end all to be all. Some people use motivation as a crutch, right? And some people consider motivation as their engine. And if you are a person that consider motivation as being your engine, then you're not going to make it far in the field of entrepreneurship, or you're not going to make it far as an entrepreneur, right? Because you got to understand, right? Motivation is going to have you starting, and it's going to have you starting, stopping, right? Because motivation, you're going to be motivated depending on how you feel that moment, that day, that hour, that second. The moment you wake up, you might feel motivated to go work on your business, feel motivated to go and accomplish your goals, achieve your goals that you have set forth, or take care of the plans that you have set for that day, right? But if you wake up and you don't feel motivated, guess what? You're going to throw everything to the side and you're going to say, what? Well, I'll work on it tomorrow. So the thing about that is, if you are determined, driven, passion, and you have discipline, those things going to make you get up and go work on your goals. It's going to make you It's going to make you get up, not wake up. It's going to make you get up and go and work on becoming a successful entrepreneur. Work on your business. Do what you need to do so you can see results, so you can be able to grow your business, right? So those things alone is going to help you. Motivation is just going to get you going to get you out of park. But what's going to keep you from going back to park is going to be your determination, your passion, your discipline, you driven, and what have you, So those are the things that's going to help you, rather than just becoming just being motivated, right? Because motivation, you motivated, you might be motivated and hype one day, right? The next day you're not. So this is going to be the reason why. And you wondering why, man, why my business not where it need to be at? What's going on? This is the reason why your business is not moving like you should. It's because you are solely dependent on motivation. You can't use motivation as a crutch. You got to be disciplined. You got to be determined. You got to be driven, right? You got to let your passion be what it is to help you get up, to go and work on what you need to get done, far as an entrepreneur, right? So let's define the problem, right? Motivation is what? It's emotion based. So it's depending on how you feel, right? It's all about feelings. I feel motivated today to go and do X, Y, Z. But you wake up tomorrow, I don't feel motivated. I just want to stay in the bed. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to watch TV. I don't even want to think about business right now. You throw everything to the side. So motivation is nothing but emotion based, right? But entrepreneurship, on the other hand, is all about being consistent, right? And that's the main thing. And a lot of us, lack consistency, being consistent at doing what we need to do so we can grow, right? And that's the key thing. And when I talk about being consistent, you want to show up every day, because the difference between yes, you may have other people that's within your sector in the field of entrepreneurship. You just say, for instance, you want to become a brand owner. Yes, you may have other clothing brands within that sector of clothing that you're trying to do, right? The difference between you and them, they show up every day. Your quality may be better, right? The way your business model may be better. Everything may be better than your competitors, but the difference between you and them, they are consistent. They show up every day. They in the front of the eyes of the people that's looking for that type of help, right? So that's why it's important for you to be consistent every day, because you never know who you may be able to affect that day. You never know who may need your help. You never know, because you, as an entrepreneur, you are trying to be seen. You're trying to get your business out there. You're trying to get yourself out there. So you got to be consistent at doing the things every day to help you grow as an entrepreneur, to be effective as an entrepreneur, to be able to help people, right? So that's the most important thing, man. Being consistent at showing up each and every day and working on your business, giving your business 110% of your time, your effort, your passion, what have you, right? So most people are stuck in the cycle, right? They feel inspired. They want to start they want to start as an entrepreneur. They want to do this as an entrepreneur. They want to create this business, right? They want to do this. They want to do that, right? But that don't feel it, right, is what caused them to stop. I don't feel it. That's the motivation, right? I feel inspired one day, next day I don't feel it. I don't want to do anything. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I can't do it. Maybe that was a dumb idea, right? I just don't feel it today, right? So you gotta understand, right? The days that you don't feel it, the days you feel like you don't want to do anything, you have to get up. You got to push yourself through it, right? But you're not gonna have any problems, right? If you, like I said, if you don't lack any discipline, you don't lack determination, you don't lack passion, and you don't lack being driven, right? If you don't lack none of them things, it's not gonna be hard for you to wake up each and every day to go and work on your business, to go and work on yourself as an entrepreneur, right? So you can become that successful at being an entrepreneur and building your business and what have you, right? So if you use excuses like, I'm tired, I start tomorrow, I need to plan more, right? These are just excuses that's underlying procrastination, right? Because, even though you feel tired, a lot of times we may feel tired, but we keep telling ourselves, I'm tired, I can't work on my business, I'm tired, I don't want to do anything, I'm tired, right? But at the end of the day, if you are feeling tired, should make you want to go even harder, because now the moments that you are tired, but you still got to put the work in at being an entrepreneur. You got to put the work in building your business, right? Especially like I like to use the term, you starting at ground zero as an entrepreneur. This is the moment of time you need to use every second of every day to be able to work on your business, right? Especially if you are a part-time entrepreneur, you don't really have the time to be tired. Even though we human, right? Yeah, you work a job, you're gonna naturally be tired, but you still have to wait. You still got to stay up them late nights and work on your business, right? Depending on what shift you work on, morning shift, night shift, you have to stay up and work on your business, right? Or you're going to wake up early in the morning before it's time for you to go work and put some work in on your business, put some work in on yourself as an entrepreneur, right? So the days that you are feeling tired, this would be the days that you dig deep and you go even harder at working on your business, working on yourself, doing the things that you're supposed to do, so you can be able to grow and what have you, right? Another excuse that people use is, I'll start tomorrow. And I'm guilty of this in the past. I'll start tomorrow, because you don't want to create that habit for yourself. It becomes a pattern. Next thing you know, a week goes by, a month goes by, a year goes by, right? And you never get started tomorrow, right? So that's just turns into what? Procrastination. A person gonna be like, oh, okay, it's not a person, but you telling yourself, I start tomorrow, but you're not gonna start tomorrow, right? Because tomorrow something might come up, right? Something might happen. You never know. So, or tomorrow might be too late. It's not gonna be tomorrow because somebody done took your idea and they brought it into fruition, right? They did what they supposed to do with it, right? So don't keep telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow. Start now. Let your tomorrow be now. Get whatever you need to get done. Your goals you set forth for that day, your plans and what have you. Go ahead and go and get it done. Knock it out, because you are only doing good for yourself, right? So you want to continue to push forward, move forward, right? So you want to be able to flip your mindset, right? Flip your mindset. Stop asking yourself, do I feel like it? Because when you ask yourself, do I feel like it, 9 out of 10 times you're going to tell yourself no, right? But start asking yourself what needs to be done, right? Because now you are changing your mindset. You trying to flip that switch and turn over a new leaf, and you create a mindset that's going to be conducive to you growing as an entrepreneur, right? So it's basically like, discipline over motivation, right? Yes, you want to be motivated, but the discipline was going to keep you going. The days you wake up, you don't feel motivated, or like I said before, if you're a part-time entrepreneur and you're getting off of work and you don't feel like you motivated to go home and work on anything because you tired, your discipline that you have created for yourself is not going to allow you to stop, right? You're going to go home. You're going to work on your business. You're going to work on yourself. You're going to do the things that needs to be done, right? Because you got to understand this, man. Winners don't negotiate with their feelings, because your feelings is just a feeling that you have, right? Once you be able to get over your feeling and stop negotiating with your feelings, you're going to see a whole big change and difference on how you move, right? Okay, guys, action creates motivation. Let me say it again. Action creates motivation. This is very important. You have to have action. You got to be active, right? You cannot sit on the sideline and wait for opportunities to knock on your door. You can't sit on the sideline and wait for the right time, because those two things is never going to show up. So the entrepreneurs that's out here that's active, right? Those are going to be the ones that's going to take your ideas if you sitting on the sideline and you waiting, right? So you got to get out here and you got to be active and have action as an entrepreneur, right? Because it's all about creating that energy that's going to be conducive to you growing as an entrepreneur. It's going to about creating that energy that's going to be important of you growing your business and what have you. It's all about energy, right? So you gotta understand what they say, momentum builds motivation, right? Momentum builds motivation. And if you understand momentum, once you get momentum behind you, you're gonna start seeing slowly you creating results, right? You able to achieve your goals, right? And once you start to achieve your goals, more goals you want to achieve, more small wins you want to put underneath your belt, right? That's what's very important, man, about momentum. And I like to use sports analogies. That's like you watching basketball, right? And a team down by 20 points. And next thing you know, they start chipping away at the lead. Momentum can happen at any time. It can happen from simply somebody getting fouled hard, somebody hitting a three, somebody hitting 2 free throws. Momentum can happen in different ways, right? But once you get that momentum behind you, you're going to start slowly seeing you chip away at the things that you need to get done as an entrepreneur. And closer, more and more you chip away, closer you get to the results, closer you get to small wins, closer you get to achieving your goals. So that's what's very important, man. Action creates motivation, man. Definitely want to create that, guys. But before I get out of here, man, you want to create a structure for yourself, right? You want to set your work hours, that's going to help you stay disciplined, going to help you get up and get started on working on your business, doing the things that you need to do as an entrepreneur. And another thing is never negotiate with yourself. No daily negotiables, right? At all. Because when you start negotiate with yourself, you're going to sell yourself short many times and you're going to find yourself behind, right? So never negotiate with yourself, because at the end of the day, it's all about moving forward. It's all about executing as an entrepreneur, right? It's all about growing as an entrepreneur. It's all about doing the things that's going to help your business grow as an entrepreneur. So that's what's very, very important, guys, man. Never solely depend on motivation. Don't use motivation as a crutch whatsoever, guys, because at the end of the day, motivation is not going to keep you driven. Motivation is not going to keep you passionate about, what you want to be as an entrepreneur. So stop waiting for motivation. Don't wait for motivation. Thank you, guys. That was a breakdown for the episode coming up for this Monday for the Entrepreneur Conversation, man. Stop waiting for motivation. Thank y'all for tuning in for another great Sidebar radio show for today. Like I said before, man, make sure you hit the subscribe button on the Invest Brand, not Invest Brand, but the Invest Media channel. Make sure you hit on the notification bell and hit all so you can be notified when a new episode drop on the Sidebar Convo radio show, and also when a new episode drop on the Entrepreneur Conversation. And also, man, invest in hitting that like button is $0. It costs you $0 to invest in hitting that like button. Other than that, guys, man, have a great day, and make sure y'all leave y'all comments. You leave y'all comments down below. You have any if you have any questions, leave your comments, leave them down in the comment section down below. That's what I meant to say. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section and I will answer them. Especially I'll be doing the pre-recorded episode and I can answer them then while I'm doing the episode. But other than that, guys, I see y'all when I see y'all. Yup.